listen closely. If you feel a tightness in your chest when someone asks, so what's new with you? Good. That tightness is your instinct trying to protect something sacred. Most people think they're being open when they share every detail of their life. But they're not being open. They're being porous. They leak. They bleed energy in small, polite conversations. They pour their focus into mouths that will never carry their weight. In 2026, your biggest upgrade is not louder confidence. It's quieter power. Because the moment you tell someone what's happening in your life, something strange occurs. Your mind marks the work as partially done. Your hunger dulls. Your discipline softens. You traded progress for applause. You took a sip of attention and mistook it for nourishment. And then you wonder why you can't finish anything. You wonder why your motivation dies after one exciting announcement. I'm not telling you to become cold. I'm telling you to become precise. There is a difference between sharing and spilling. Sharing is deliberate. Spilling is emotional. Sharing has a purpose. Spilling has a craving. Sharing is a cup offered to someone worthy. Spilling is a cup knocked over. Because your hands shake when you're seen. Look at the world around you. Everyone is narrating their life like a live sports commentary. Every thought, every plan, every new habit, every heartbreak, every new chapter. And the more they talk, the less they build. The more they explain, the less they become. They are addicted to being witnessed. But the strongest growth happens when nobody is clapping. When a seed is planted, it does not call the neighborhood to watch it become a tree. It goes underground. It stays dark. It stays quiet. It stays patient. And it grows anyway. So let me give you a rule for 2026. If your life is changing, protect it from noise while it's still fragile. Because not everyone who listens to you is listening for you. Some people listen to measure themselves against you. Some listen to collect stories. Some listen to find weaknesses. Some listen because your movement makes them uncomfortable and they need to reduce it to something small they can gossip about. Some listen with a smile. And inside they are rearranging your words into a reason you will fail. And even when people have good intentions, they still have human nature. They will misunderstand you. They will misquote you. They will remember the part that entertains them, not the part that matters to you. They will take your private struggles and turn them into casual conversation. Not because they're evil, because they are careless. Your life is not for careless hands. You don't need to announce your new discipline. You need to live it long enough that it no longer needs protection. Here's the first lesson. The mouth is a doorway. What you let out, you lose control of. Your plans become public property the second you speak them. And the public does what it always does. It edits. It judges. It doubts. It compares. Even if nobody says anything, you feel it. Your nervous system feels watched. And watch people perform. Builders don't perform. Builders build. Second lesson, when you speak too early, you borrow identity from the future. You start calling yourself the version you haven't earned yet. I'm going to the gym. I'm starting a business. I'm writing a book. I'm changing my life. Those are not lies, but they are dangerous comforts. Because the mind loves titles. It loves the feeling of being that person. And if you hand it that feeling too soon, it gets lazy. It thinks we are already someone. So it stops doing the hard, boring repetitions that actually make you someone. In 2026, stop feeding yourself with words. Feed yourself with proof. Third lesson, attention is a currency. And you are spending it like a child in a market. Every time you tell your story to someone who cannot help you carry it, you are paying for nothing. You leave the conversation lighter for a moment because you got validation, but then you wake up the next day with the same responsibilities and less drive. You turned your private fire into a public flame. And public flames attract wind. Fourth lesson, most people don't need your full story to respect you. They need your boundaries. If you feel guilty when you don't explain yourself, that guilt is not morality. It is a habit. It's the habit of asking permission to exist. You do not owe everyone an explanation of your choices. You do not owe everyone updates. You do not owe everyone access. Say this to yourself until it becomes natural. I keep some things private. You can say it with a smile. You can say it softly. You can say it without tension, but say it. And do not decorate it with extra words. The more you explain, the weaker your boundary becomes. A clean boundary is one sentence. A messy boundary is a speech. Fifth lesson, protect your momentum from the eye of the crowd. There's a reason you feel different when nobody knows what you're doing. You take risks more easily. You fail without shame. You restart without embarrassment. But when you announce everything, every setback becomes public humiliation in your imagination. You start experimenting. You play safe. You become a version of yourself designed to look consistent, not to become strong. In 2026, choose strength over looking consistent. Sixth lesson, gossip is not just something other people do. It's a system. And every time you overshare, you feed that system. People will talk. They will talk even when you behave perfectly. They will talk even when you stay quiet. But when you overshare, you hand them material. You hand them your rawness, your unprocessed emotions, your half-formed thoughts. Then later, when you evolve, you have to fight old versions of yourself that live in other people's mouths. Stop creating extra enemies made of yesterday's words. Seventh lesson, some people will only be close to you as long as you are predictable. When you start changing, they feel threatened. They may not admit it. They may not even know it, but they will respond with questions that sound innocent and feel heavy. Why are you doing that? Who told you to do that? Do you really think you can? Those questions are not curiosity. They are hooks. They want to pull you back into the familiar version of you because the familiar you makes them comfortable. In 2026, when you feel someone tugging at your growth, do not argue. Do not defend. Do not explain. Just keep walking. Eighth lesson, silence is not emptiness. Silence is training. When you stop telling everyone what's happening in your life, you will feel a strange discomfort at first. Your tongue will itch. Your mind will look for a stage. That is withdrawal. That is the addiction leaving your body. You have been using conversation as a soothing mechanism. You've been using other people's reactions as emotional regulation. Now you will learn to regulate yourself. When you feel that itch to tell someone everything, pause. Breathe. Ask, what am I trying to get from this? Comfort, approval, pity, permission. If you can name the craving, you stop being controlled by it. Then you can choose a better action. Write it down. Take a walk. Do 5 minutes of stillness. Do one small piece of the work you were about to talk about. Turn the craving into action. That is power. Ninth lesson. Not everyone deserves the real you. The real you is not a performance you give to the world. The real you is a home. And a home has doors. It has locks. It has invited guests. It does not have strangers wandering through the living room touching everything. If you give everyone access to your inner life, you will start decorating your inner life for their taste. You will rearrange your truth to avoid being misunderstood. And then you will wake up one day and realize you have been living in a house built for other people. In 2026, your inner life becomes your temple. Temples are quiet. Temples are clean. Temples are protected. 10th lesson, your progress does not need witnesses. It needs consistency. The modern world convinces you that if you're not posting, you're not progressing. If you're not telling, you're not doing. That is nonsense. Some of the strongest transformations happen when nobody knows. In fact, they happen because nobody knows. If you want to stop telling people your life in 2026, you need a replacement. Your mouth will want to talk. Give it a discipline. Make a vow. I speak about results, not intentions. Or I speak about lessons, not plans. Or I speak to mentors, not crowds. Choose one. Keep it. And understand this. Privacy is not secrecy. Secrecy is fear. Privacy is respect. You are not hiding because you are ashamed. You are protecting because you are building. Now let's go deeper. Because people misunderstand this topic and become extreme. They think staying quiet means becoming isolated or becoming fake or cutting everyone off. No. The goal is not to become a locked door. The goal is to become a door that opens intentionally. There are 3 circles in your life. The first circle is the crowd. The crowd gets your polite version. The crowd gets general updates. The crowd gets nothing that can be used against your peace. The second circle is your trusted people, those who have shown consistency, discretion, and maturity. They get more truth because they can hold it without dropping it. The third circle is your mentor circle, 1 or 2 people, maybe 3, who can actually guide you, challenge you, and help you grow. That circle can hear your plans because they are not entertainment, they are accountability. Most people treat the crowd like a mentor circle. They ask for opinions from people who have never built what they want to build. Then they feel confused by the noise. In 2026, stop asking the crowd to hold your future. If you want to share, share upward. Share with people who have discipline, not just opinions. And learn the art of short answers. Someone asks, what's going on with you lately? You don't need a novel. You can say, just working on a few things. Someone asks, what's next for you? You can say, I'm focused on my routine right now. Someone asks, how's your relationship? You can say, we're good, thank you. Someone asks, why did you stop coming around? You can say, I've been prioritizing my schedule. That's it. No extra sauce. No apology. Your apology invites negotiation. Your simplicity ends the conversation. Some of you are thinking, but if I don't share, people will think I'm arrogant. Let them, people will always think something. If you share too much, they call you needy. If you share too little, they call you secretive. If you succeed, they call you lucky. If you struggle, they call you weak. Do you see? Their opinions are weather. You don't build your home out of weather. You build it out of values. And here is a value for 2026. Let your life speak without your mouth. Let people discover your growth the way you discover a mountain when the fog clears. Suddenly, quietly, undeniably. There is another reason to stop telling people what's happening in your life, because most of your life is unfinished. And unfinished things need gentle hands. When you talk about your wounds while they're still bleeding, you reopen them. You make them public. You invite strangers into the most tender part of you. Then you wonder why you feel exposed and anxious after opening up. Not everyone is qualified to hear your pain. Pain is not small talk. Pain is sacred. If you share it with someone who can help you heal, not someone who can only react. In 2026, become strict with what you feed your nervous system. Every time you overshare, you create a new social thread your mind has to manage. What did I tell them? What will they think? Will they bring it up? Do I have to update them? Your mind becomes a custom service desk for your own life. That is exhausting. That is why you feel tired, even when you haven't done much physical work. Privacy reduces mental clutter. And with less clutter, you focus. I want you to notice something. The people who talk the most about their life often feel the most stuck. They recycle the same stories. They repeat the same complaints. They rehearse the same identity. This always happens to me. People always do this. I'm just not that kind of person. They are building a prison out of narration. In 2026, stop narrating. Start observing. Instead of telling people what's happening, ask yourself, what is actually happening inside me? Where do I tense? Where do I avoid? Where do I lie to myself? Where do I chase comfort? Where do I betray my own standards? This is where the real change begins, not in updates. In honesty, some of you also overshare because you fear being forgotten. You think, if I don't keep people updated, I'll disappear. Listen, if a relationship requires constant updates to stay alive, it is not a relationship, it is a subscription. And you are paying with your peace. In 2026, let weak connections fade. That creates room for strong ones. And yes, you will lose some people when you become quieter. Not because you did something wrong, but because your silence removes their access. Some people were close to you only because you were easy to read, easy to influence, easy to pull into drama. When you stop giving them information, they feel powerless. They call you different. They say you changed. Good. That means it's working. But be careful. Don't become bitter. Don't use silence as punishment. Don't use privacy as a weapon. Use it as a practice. Use it as respect. Quietness without warmth becomes arrogance. Quietness with warmth becomes presence. So practice this. When you speak less, listen more. When you post less, build more. When you explain less, improve more. When you seek less validation, create more evidence. Now let's talk about the most dangerous form of oversharing. Announcing your next move. Some of you love the moment right before you begin. The shiny moment. The new notebook. The new plan. The first day. The new identity. And you want people to see you stepping into it. You want someone to say, wow, I'm proud of you. But that pride is cheap if it is given before the work. Earn your pride in private. If you want to change your body, don't tell 10 people you're starting the gym. Go quietly for 90 days. Let your face change. Let your posture change. Let your energy change. Then if someone asks, you can smile and say, I've been consistent. If you want to change your finances, don't announce your hustle. Build the habit. Track the numbers. Cut the waste. Grow the skill. Then let the results speak. If you want to change your relationships, don't complain to everyone. Fix your standards. Improve your communication. Learn to say no. Learn to choose better. Then your life becomes calmer without needing to argue about it. Silence gives you speed. Because when you stop talking, you stop performing. And when you stop performing, you can be honest about how hard it is. You can fail without shame. You can adjust without embarrassment. You can restart without announcing new beginnings every week. There is a particular kind of person you must be careful with in 2026. The person who turns your dreams into debate. You tell them something you're excited about. And suddenly, you are defending it like a lawyer. They pick at it. They question it. They want guarantees. They want you to prove it before you build it. That person may not be evil, but they are dangerous to your momentum. The moment you feel yourself defending your future, stop speaking. Your future is not on trial. Another lesson, your wins are quieter than your words. If you need to tell people you are strong, you are still negotiating with your own doubt. If you need to tell people you are disciplined, you are still trying to convince yourself. True discipline is boring. It is repetitive. It does not need a microphone. So in 2026, become boring to people who only love drama. Become mysterious to people who only love gossip. Become unavailable to people who only love access. Not to punish them, to protect your craft. And your life is your craft. Let's make this practical. Here is what you do when you feel the urge to tell someone what's happening in your life. You pause. You breathe in through the nose. You count to 3. You ask, will telling them improve my life? Or just relieve my emotion? If it will improve your life, maybe you share with the right person. If it will only relieve your emotion, you don't share. You process, you journal, you train, you walk, you sit, you let the emotion pass like weather. Most people will talk because they cannot sit with themselves. In 2026, you learn to sit with yourself. That's why your life will change. I want you to understand something about energy. When you speak, you spend. Even if you enjoy it, you spend. You spend attention, you spend emotion, you spend mental effort. That's fine when you spend it on what matters. But many of you spend it on explaining yourself to people who don't even listen well. Then you have nothing left for your work. Stop donating your energy to casual conversations. Use that energy to become skilled. Use that energy to become healthy. Use that energy to become stable. Use that energy to become calm. And if you struggle with this because you are a naturally expressive person, good. Express, but in a disciplined way. Put it into art. Put it into writing. Put it into training. Put it into building something that remains when the conversation ends. A conversation disappears. A habit stays. Another trap in 2026 is social media confession culture. People think vulnerability equals authenticity. But vulnerability without boundaries becomes self-harm. Not all truth needs an audience. Some truth needs a mirror. Some truth needs therapy. Some truth needs prayer. Some truth needs time. If you share your life online, ask yourself, am I sharing to connect or am I sharing to be held? Because the internet cannot hold you, it can only react. And reaction is not care. Care is quiet, care is consistent. Care shows up when the camera is off. So treat your life like a priceless object. Would you carry gold in a clear plastic bag and announce your route to strangers? Then why do you carry your dreams and pain and plans in public. Be wise. Wisdom is not just knowing. Wisdom is choosing what not to say. Some of you will hear this and think, but if I stop telling people my life, I'll feel lonely. At first, yes. You will feel the empty space where attention used to be. But that emptiness is not loneliness. It is room. It is room for depth. It is room for real friendships. It is room for self-respect. It is room for the kind of confidence that does not need to be witnessed. When you become quieter, you become more selective. When you become more selective, you become more peaceful. When you become more peaceful, you become more dangerous in the best way because you stop being easy to manipulate. And manipulation often begins with information. People can only pull your strings when they know where they are tied. So in 2026, tighten your inner world. Keep your plans close. Keep your lessons deep. Keep your pain private until it is processed. Keep your victories humble. Keep your discipline boring. And when people ask, why are you so quiet lately? Smile. Not a defensive smile, a clean smile. A smile that says, I'm busy becoming. Because here is the truth. The version of you that will win in 2026 is not the version that talks the most. It's the version that shows up when nobody is watching. It's the version that does the hard thing before telling the story. It's the version that can sit in silence without reaching for a phone, a person, a distraction, a confession. Your life becomes different when you stop needing an audience. So today, practice. The next time you're tempted to give a full update, give a short one. The next time you want to explain your plan, take one step instead.